Come to Helmuth Ford, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Hi, this is Stacy from Shuttler Insurance Services. Come see me on the east side of the square in Sigourney for all your insurance needs.
Delta Fire and Rescue presents their annual haunted house every Friday and Saturday in October. The haunted house is located at the Delta, Iowa Fire Station, 103 North 2nd Street in Delta. Doors open from 8 p.m. to midnight. Tickets are $15. Food and drinks are available to purchase. It's the Delta Fire and Rescue Haunted House. Come and be scared, if you dare.
Attention Iowa business owners. Is your business missing sales because you're too busy to follow up? Every missed call or delayed message could be costing you money. At Easy Biz Tech, we help local businesses stay ahead by automating customer follow-up, so no lead gets left behind. Missed a call? Our system texts back instantly. Need personalized outreach? We send automated texts, emails, and even use AI-powered voice agents to connect with your customers 24/7. Stop losing money because of slow follow-up. Contact Easy Biz Tech today, where Iowa businesses win online.
Steve Shuttler Media once again proudly presents Pekin High School football live video streams each Friday night this fall with home and away games and the playoffs. Tune in Friday nights for Pekin High School football right here on Steve Shuttler Media, Facebook, and YouTube. Skunk River Radio, country music from 1990 through 2010 with some Iowa country music sprinkled in. Listen at skunkriverradio.com, download the app, listen on Alexa by saying, Alexa, play Skunk River Radio on TuneIn. You can listen to me, Steve Shuttler, each weekday morning from 6 a.m. to noon and listen to The Haze from noon to 6 p.m. Skunk River Radio, online radio for country music from 1990 to 2010. And a good morning. Welcome into the sports section. We are live from Barn Wired at 119 East Marion Street in downtown Sigourney on the south side of the square on a crisp fall morning here in southeast Iowa. We're going to be talking with Sigourney Volleyball coming up. We're going to be talking with SK's Jared Jensen as well. And we'll start things off with Pekin football, of course, with our host with the most, Mr. Andy McGuire. Andy.
Back here on Saturday morning with the most, maybe not as much as I usually have because I'm kind of tired because there was a lot of really good football being played last night. Coach, you had one of those games, 42-7, first playoff victory of the season. Tell us how that game went last night, Coach.
Yeah, I was just telling you before. I think our team played their best game in all 9 games last night, and that's a convincing thing to see when you're getting to the playoffs. You want to play your best when you're getting to the postseason. So, just happy how electric we started, and we had a huge break or turn of events in our favor last night on the first play, and we just never looked back. So, great win for the kids, and just kind of proves what our kids can do when everything's going well.
So tell us about that first play. I think you guys had the kick right and just had an opportunity to recover or actually make some coverage plays there. And you brought a guy with you today that was all over the field last night too, recovering fumbles, getting interceptions, really making a difference. Tell us about what Landon Crow was able to do for you last night.
Yeah, Landon was a huge part of last night. Obviously player of the game with you guys. And every game's kind of got a different centerpiece, and he became that last night. Had an interception that just got tripped up from being a pick six. Got his hand on another one-handed. I thought he was going to get 2. All over the field, which, he was able to recover a fumble, and then countless blitzes and tackles. And, our game plan fit, I think, what he liked to do last night because they had a back in the backfield that had an ineligible receiver number, so he really just had a linebacker mentality last night, and I know that's what he wants to do probably sometimes, but Usually he's guarding the pass a little bit too, but he was a little more one-dimensional just downhill last night. And, offense, he was another big part. Almost had a couple big catches that we overthrew him on. But overall, yeah, just all over the field. And then the opening kick, like I said, we forced a fumble, fell right on it, and scored in 2 plays and just got out early, which was big.
You know that Pekin Panther depth is real when you bring Landon Crow at the first playoff game. We've been through all the regular season games, and a guy like Landon shows up. Those of us that know Landon remember when Landon was up here in Sigourney and playing. And Landon, you had a heck of a career in junior high, and life's led you down to Pekin. But I've been watching the stats and watching what you're doing down there and having a phenomenal season. What was it about the game last night that you were able to make such a difference?
Well, I'd say that after that first kickoff, it kind of like we all got the spark, and then all the enthusiasm just came together, and we all played really good.
Right. So Coach talked about, that linebacker mentality. You're not going to have to worry about their blocking back, so you just fly through the line and make the play where you need to make it. How soon did you realize that, hey, I don't even have to worry about this guy getting his hands on the ball. I can just go at him?
Well, we practiced it all week, really, just to key that blocking back, so every play I'd be watching where he went, and then that's where the ball was going.
Yeah, and he, like I said, him and Henry were kind of the inside linebackers last night. And then when they're unbalanced, it's kind of like, Sigourney runs. Like, you can kind of key where you think they're going to be a lot of plays. They kind of tell you where they're going in most ways. And like I said, we created a couple new blitzes that he was able to just, get downhill on guys. And our D-line, I thought, did a lot better. We were outmatched on the D-line, honestly, in terms of size last night. But don't mistake our D-line for being aggressive and lining up well. And I felt like it kept Henry and Landon or one of the two clean every play.
So tell me about that, Coach. Going into this week, last Saturday, we were talking, we didn't know who the opponent was going to be. You had some magic spreadsheets that came in from the colleague coaches, that sort of thing. But when you found out you had Earlham, did you know much about them? Did you know the style of offense they ran? Do you know what the personnel looked like? Did you know the coach? How did that scouting setup go?
Yeah. My wife faults me for this, but I talked to a lot of people wherever we're at. So I did have a handful of coaches that had either played him or knew them. And on top of that, we did take a look at a few teams that we might play right after Columbus. And we did have an idea that they played or that they ran single wing or a version of the single wing. So we had a little clue in on them. More importantly, I can remember 2 years ago in the track setting when we went to the indoor meets, and then last spring, they've had some good track teams, and they've had some good groups last year. They beat Madrid last year, and I talked to Madrid's coach quite a bit, and they're just a solid program, and that coach has been there for 23 years. He told me last night, so we know they're an established program. They're physical, but we did like the way we fit the matchup with them. So yeah.
And talk to me about their version of the single wing. Looking at that, was it significantly different than what you were used to when you were at SK, or was it pretty similar?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it now. They don't really kick out trap blocks. They more of a zone style. They reach. They try to get a lot of guys at the point of attack, but they aren't trying to carve gaps, scheme holes out as much. So and it doesn't mean it's not physical. It's just personally, I think it's a little easier to defend if they're not trying to kick you out and wrap up in a hole because of the angles. And I'm not questioning what they do. I think it fit our defense just a little bit better than if they were going to do it that way. So fortunate the way it worked out for us, though.
Yeah, it seems similar to what I think I was watching last night when SK took on I-35. You look at a team and you know what the strength is as far as maybe a defense goes, and that what style of offense you're going to be facing, and maybe you have a good feeling. Is that fair to say on this, that you had a decent feeling going? And I know you wouldn't tell me before the game, but after the game, looking back, did you feel pretty good going into this one?
Well, I honestly, I wasn't questioning our ability to win big, but I thought it would be closer. I did, so I'm going to say the opposite. Mm-hmm. It didn't mean I didn't think we could be successful. I expected them to be able to generate a little more on offense, but like Landon said, it's testament to how our team come out. Our sideline was so loud last night. I think we may have caused a false start on their quarterback, trying to get the cadence down. So, and that's the home field advantage. I can't say enough about it. We haven't had a ton of it in the playoffs, but last year round one, and then last night, and then next week hopefully will be a big part of it.
Yeah. So Landon, Coach talking about the scheme and the game plan going in. As a linebacker on defense, I love talking about defense. So we'll start there. What was your mission last night, if you will, as far as the read goes or that sort of thing?
Well, the mission probably was just to fly to the ball and get a tackle, I suppose.
Where were you lined up?
I was lined up on the weak side and came from the back side and made a play.
There you go. So we're going to use Landon's speed to get to whoever's carrying the ball. And
yeah, and they run a nifty little weak side screen and a couple weak side run plays that Henry was shaded over to the strength a little more, and then which we don't usually do actually. He usually runs side to side, but again, no pass responsibility, and he's really a nickel, which is kind of linebacker and D-back. So he was able to play the pass if he had to on a couple releases they had out of number 10, who is a good player, but very rounded guy, and he did a good job last night.
So, Landon, tell me about the attitude of this team going in last night. First playoff game, you sort of reset the records to 0-0. You win, you move on. You lose, you go home. Was this team ready to rock and roll last night?
Yeah, our team was pretty ready. I mean, we knew that this could be our last, and we had to give it all.
Right. And talk to me just about, some of those teammates that you have on this defense. We've had quite a few of them on this program. We talk about Henry Adam quite a bit. Let's talk about some of the other guys that were out there flying around last night doing some headhunting.
The D-line unsung heroes.
Yeah. I feel like Aiden Porter, he did a great job last night. I mean, his knees bothered him a lot, and he powered through it and made some plays. And then Cal Miller, he brought the enthusiasm all night, and that really pumped up our defense to play.
Yeah, scrolling through the stats, it seems like every week I scroll through defensive stats, seeing who's getting tackles, and somebody else is popping up with 5.5 tackles. Every single week there's a different guy stepping up on this peak in defense. Coach, why don't you talk to me about what it is about this defense that's gelling at this point in time? You said you played your best game of the year so far. What do you attribute that to? Is it just the reps, or do you think this group is getting comfortable with each other and really pushing forward?
Well, they work. It's an 11-man show, and if one guy doesn't do their job, it doesn't work right. But I think we've three things. I think I've said it on here. We ask for practice every day, and it's energy, 1% better, and no excuses. But the no excuses thing's a big deal. We've got guys on our team, and it's not saying bad. There are some excuses during the week, and it sounds harsh, but if you make excuses, you probably won't play on our team. You might be on the team, but you probably won't play. And the reason for that is even if there's a difference between telling a coach, like this is what's happening versus just making excuses and just having that relentless mindset to get your job done. We're a big do your job team. He can't be worried about, not that linebackers don't help D-line get lined up, but he can't be worried about what a corner's doing. He's got to worry about himself. And we talk about getting our eyes right no matter who you are in the field. If your eyes aren't right on your key, you're gonna blow an assignment. And that doesn't mean you aren't going to give up big plays. Teams make great plays. Moving forward, it's going to get tougher, and there's going to be teams that score and make big plays and force you to do different things. But having your eyes right, no excuses are probably two big things that have gotten all of our guys in good position to make plays. And then another guy last night, Reed Lauderman. He's number 10. Winey is a stud running back, and Lauderman had 7 tackles. Brogan Spray had 9, which when they run it up the gut a lot, you're going to have a lot of those. But, man, I can't say enough about Brogan and Reed last night, too. They were in the mix so much. So just a lot of guys involved. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, one thing we haven't talked a lot about is momentum in a game. And last night it seems like you guys had momentum from the word go. Landon, what were some of the key plays in your mind last night that really gave Pekin the confidence to go to a 42-7 victory?
After that first kickoff, I think it was all in momentum from there, and then the scoring drive 2 plays later, and then just kept on keeping on.
How about your pick?
And then the pick, I just turned it around. Really, we knew I
thought we squandered a little momentum on offense, not scoring and they get the ball, not great field position, but decent position, and then he drops under a pick, and we get it right back, and then I kind of cut a little wind out of their sail, which was big.
Yeah. One thing we don't talk about a lot are some key blocks. I saw maybe a video that was forwarded to me this morning where there was a receiver that pushed a defensive back out of the way that led to a touchdown, 2 of them. Are there moments in the game, Landon, that you're watching or maybe you're playing and you see a block and you're like, oh, there it was. That was the reason that crease opened and we went. Can you talk about any of those plays?
Yeah, on offense, that's all I do really is block. So, yeah, those blocks are key things to get a touchdown, really.
Yeah, and I think our tackles deserve a little credit last night. We tried to establish some inside run, and we did an all right job. We probably had 30 to 35 yards in between the tackles, which isn't great. But when you run the edge as much as we do, I think that helped Jonah and Branton set the edge, and then Landon at wing's able to seal some of that when he is in, or Henry was at wing probably a little more last night. But I was proud of Jonah. I can recall multiple times watching him with his hands tight. He's got that 6'5" frame that can run, and Glick ended up having another big night too. So, and that's why. Yeah. It seems like every night Nolan Glick's putting up gaudy numbers and just running wild on everybody. But that starts, with the offensive line, and it starts with guys, like Landon that are running at skill positions but still doing man work. So that's really impressive. Landon, moving forward, we'll put this one behind us. Moving forward, what do you think this team needs to do to be successful in the next round? So we get past Earlham, which is a quality team, but that competition is going to ratchet up, probably twofold on this next round. What are you guys going to do to lock in to be ready for this next one?
We just got to keep on working as a team and don't break up. Just keep together.
I would agree. And, I talked a little bit, and Clint Dyes, what do we call that? Pre-game preparation. I don't even know what it's called, but we talked about trying to make our best better. Okay, Landon does a good job of. We've tweaked some things over the course of the season on not who we're blocking. We don't block people. We block paths, and but we've changed the path a little bit, and we've done a good job with the edge on our wide zone a little bit of what our goal is. So long story short, trying to make our best better, and then eliminating errors or ironing out what's hurting us so that it looks a little bit different for the next team playing us, and we're better at it. So I think those are a couple key parts that we'll have to do to like you said, there's 16 teams left now. There's no soft eggs in there.
Along those lines, Coach, what are these spreadsheets showing us? Who are we going to get? Do you have any idea, any speculation?
Those spreadsheets blew up because West Hancock, ranked number 1, got knocked off by Lamar's Galen Catholic last night, and Riverside got beat by BGM last night. So, and I can't remember if those were the only two. There might have been a third upset in Class A last night, but those spreadsheets are ash now. So, but I do think there's if I had to predict, there's three teams that I think we could see, and if I'm wrong, that'll be the exciting part. But I could see Northland coming down for a rematch. I could see Mount Ayr, who's kind of southwest, who's also left that's to the west, and then Madrid could be coming for a rematch. So 2 of those 3 teams that I think we could see, we played last year. I could be wrong, but that's who I would. Those are the 3 that I would probably guess.
Yeah, and just geographically, it would seem that maybe Madrid and Northland are more likely than the Mount Ayr.
Possibly. It kind of depends if the state wants to throw a district rematch with Guthrie Center, because they played Mount Ayr, but Madrid or Guthrie Center's also played Madrid in non-district. So unless sometimes they try to avoid that. They could maybe take Madrid North. You just don't know. It's the fun part. Like I said before, it's the fun part. We got another hour and a half before we know. So
yeah. All right. Well, we won't let Landon worry about that because we still need to celebrate, right, Landon? We got a big win last night. What are you going to do to celebrate that thing?
Oh, we celebrated last night. The whole team basically went to Sonic.
Oh yeah. I forgot about the Sonic. Yeah.
What do you get? What?
Yeah. What's the order in Landon?
I get a cheeseburger and mozzarella sticks and a cherry limeade.
Oh man!
After
that is
every home
solid.
game.
Americana, a slice of Americana. That's what you got to do. And I was wondering if maybe Coach Weber picked up a new whip because the Toyota wasn't sitting out in front of Barn Wired, but it looks like a coon hunting machine out there, right? You got the wide wheels, the short truck. Tell me about that pickup truck that you're bombing around in.
Oh, it's my pride and joy right there.
What is it? What kind of pickup
It's
is
a
it?
2004 Tacoma.
Tacoma. How big are the rims and the wheels? I'm sure you know.
The wheels are 20 by 14s, and then the tires are 35 by 15 and a halves. Pretty big.
This is Southeast Iowa at its finest right here.
Absolutely.
We go to Sonic for a victory, and we got the coon hunting machine sitting out front. Oh, man, I can feel my chest hair sprouting right now.
I just tell them not to take the corner too wide in the airstrip at school because it's top heavy. It's all it is, right?
We don't need him barrel rolling over down at Pekin, do we?
No.
How many coons have you had loaded on that thing at one time?
Quite a few.
Just the legal limit, right?
That's right.
All right. I'm sure Shetler has some questions. He's
I was
going to
just
start
gonna-
grunting like Tim Allen on Home Improvement here.
I was going to throw it out. Of course, Landon was our Daisy Dew landscaping player of the game last night, as seen here on the screen. And then also, you guys, for the third time this school year already, voted the Emma Ratliff American Family Insurance Team of the Week. Third time this year, 2 weeks in a row now. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on the support? Well, speaking of the support, before I let you answer, Joy Latcham also let me know that, of course, there's the big mom's breakfast that they put together before the game yesterday morning, and then also the school board volunteering to do the concession stand last night. So lots of community pride, lots of community support.
Yeah, and I think I've said this 3 or 4 times this year on this show, but the only way a program thrives is parent support systems, supporting the coaches, the team, the community, and it goes back to our homecoming celebration at Hedrick. Had a lot of older Hedrick Pekin natives talk about just how electric it was to bring the communities together. But yeah, our school board, shout out to them, all those guys and females that step up and help. I know some of the spouses even were in there, but anytime people want to be involved out of the goodness of their heart and volunteering, that's just when people are setting aside things they could be doing, and they're there for the kids, and that's what it's about. And then like I said, like I'll just shout out all the moms, like you said, and significant others that they lead breakfasts and they're doing all the meal planning all year long. We walk in last night and there's 44 bags of chicken bacon ranch wraps and beef sticks and cheese sticks and protein balls and drink. I mean, I walk in, it's a buffet and it's all ready to go. So like you just can't beat that, and that's a key part people don't realize to make the whole ship go.
Awesome.
Well, I can see why there's so much success on the line at Pekin. Breakfasts, snacks, Sonic, concession stands. That's the way to do it, That is the way to do it. And I know Henry Adam eats a lot of beef, so
I'm sure he does.
fair enough.
All right. Well, Pekin football, as always, thanks, guys, for coming in. Start things off on our Saturday morning during this fall season. I know Sigourney Volleyball is itching to get on the show as well. We'll talk to them up next here on the sports section.
At Pekin Community Schools, opportunity isn't limited. It's everywhere. From FFA to music, business to athletics, our students explore it all. Small class sizes mean big advantages. Personal attention, strong relationships, and academic success that goes above and beyond. You're more than a student. You're a story, a voice, a vital part of our school family. From the classroom to the kitchen, every adult helps shape futures. At Pekin, pride runs deep where everybody is somebody.
Schedule your next dental appointment with Dr. Dan Schuster at Oski Dental, 641-673-4845. They're accepting new patients. Oski Dental will file all of your insurance forms for you. They're a Delta dental provider. And Oski Dental is located at 902 South 17th Street in Oskaloosa. That's Oski Dental, 641-673-4845. We make smiles happen at Oski Dental. Stop by James Family Greenhouse and Produce in Sigourney. They have a variety of hanging baskets, annuals, shrubs, perennials, trees, mulch, and vegetable plants. Plus, you can spruce up your landscape with yard decor or decorate the inside of your home with home decor. James Family Greenhouse is also a great place to stop in for some gift ideas. You got to stop in and see it all for yourself. James Family Greenhouse at 701 East Jackson in Sigourney. And be sure to follow their page on Facebook.
Looking for more than just a job? Find a career where you make a difference right in your community.
What I appreciate about First Resources is our dedication to innovation, always looking for ways to expand programming and offer greater opportunities for our staff and everyone involved.
First Resources staff are amazing. They're committed and they are motivated and they are fierce advocates to help clients meet their goals.
If you're ready to join a team committed to making a difference, apply online and join us at First Resources.
Find your Iowa dream home with AE Realty in Montezuma. With unparalleled industry knowledge and local expertise, AE Realty is the Montezuma real estate expert you've been looking for. Whether you're buying or selling, AE Realty can help you get the best deal. You can find AE Realty at 321 East Main Street in Montezuma. Call 641-623-2639 or go to aerealtyinc.com.
Building a new house, or maybe wanting to do a remodel, come check out our showroom at Valvey Lumber and Hardware's Eddyville location. Cook kitchen cabinets, masonite interior doors, and more. Not sure what you want? Let us help with the design and layout of your new kitchen or remodel. At Valvey Lumber and Hardware, we can help with any room in the house, from lumber for building to shower enclosures, paint, and more. Choose Valvey Lumber and Hardware with locations in Eddyville and Albia.
Hey, and we are back at the sports section. We're live at Barnwired in downtown Sigourney. Get in here and get started on this Saturday morning with some coffee and some breakfast and get going. Hey, we talked to Pekin football. Now we're going to be talking to Sigourney volleyball, who wrapped up their season this week. Andy McGuire is our host. Andy, take it away.
All right, yeah, so Sigourney volleyball wraps up the season. Unfortunately, not the same result as what the Pekin Panthers had for their first playoff game. Coach, tell us about Monday night. How did that contest go? Obviously not the way you wanted it to, but just walk us through it real quick.
Yeah, not the way that we wanted it to end, but we played really hard. This was our first year stepping up to 2A, so we haven't seen any of these teams before. And it's a big change. I think are going to have to improve our game over the next 5 years, stepping into 2A. So, but I'm really proud of the way we played. We were scrappy. We went after everything. We were swinging hard. So that's all that I can hope for.
She says ditto. Same. You did a great job covering it. But for those of us that don't know, what was it that triggered that step up from 1A to 2A? Obviously, I think I know what the answer is, but I'll let you explain what happened.
It all goes off of school enrollment. So our team was actually smaller this year, which kind of stinks, but it all goes off of enrollment. No matter how many people play volleyball, we were going up. So
yeah. And so tell me who you brought with you today. Let's get that one out of the way now that we got through the win.
Do you want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Addie Finner, and I'm a senior.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Clara Holtzman. I'm a junior.
And I'm Charlie Smothers. I'm a senior.
And I'm Sydney Hansen, and I'm the assistant coach this year.
All right, and you guys know each other just a little bit, right?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. You've been around each other once in a while, all right? But coaches, this is your final season, at least for now. Is that a fair statement, for now?
For now.
We can't say forever because forever's a long time, right?
Right.
So let's talk about that in a minute, but let's focus on the season, and let's focus on the girls first. Let's start with Miss Finneran here. As the senior, tell me how this season went just overall.
It was really hard for us with having only 2 varsity returners, so we had a lot of people to step up and fill spots, which I thought we did very well. We struggled a lot of times with energy and communication, but we started to figure it out towards the end of the season, which was good. But overall, I thought it was a very successful year.
Good. And tell me about the 2 gals behind you and what they brought to this team. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay, Clara, she stepped up a lot. She tends to get nervous a lot, which is okay. I understand that. And Charlie also, she had a really big role, outside hitter, very important, and I thought she stepped up as well. Very well, yep.
Yep. And so tell me about your role on the team. Were you on the back line, or are you kind of more of a front line gal that wants to really put that ball down in somebody's head?
I love to put the ball down, yes, but also I felt like my role, obviously I was a captain this year, and I felt like my role was just bring up my teammates and try to keep the energy there.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the role of the upperclassmen, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so coaches, we had some postseason awards handed out, and these Lady Savages really stacked up some honors here. Can you tell us who got what awards?
Yep. Addie Finneran got first team all conference, and Bailey Gretter also got first team all conference. Our sickle meeting is hard. There is only 7 girls that can make first team, and we got 2 on there, which is amazing. Minus, like, they have first team all setter, first team libero, but there's only 1 for each of those. So there are teams that got 2, including those, but we are the only one for just first team all conference. Across the board, we got 2, and we're super proud of our team for that. And they earned it. Bailey Gretter is all over the floor. She's our outside. She is consistent. With that left hand, she shouldn't be on the outside, but for the team, she did what was right for the team. And Addie Finneran, she is our great blocker. She moves on the floor very well, and she puts it down when we needed to put it down. So they both earned it.
Ditto. Well said, she says. So talk to me about the 2 gals behind you. You know, where are their strengths and what do they bring to this team, both Charlie and Clara?
Yeah, I'll start with Charlie. Charlie stepped up this season. She didn't see a lot of floor time last year, but this year she was our main outside, which is, like Addie said, a huge role. Most of the balls go to them, and I've told them in practice before, a lot of the not so good balls go to them most of the time. So are they the ones that get the consistent sets? No. So their job is very hard, and she did a great job placing it and just doing the best she could with every ball that she got. Clara, she stepped up and did our middle, our opposite middle of Addie, and she went to work on her blocks, and she was very consistent. Her kill efficiency was great, and she's going to be huge next year for the team.
All right, yeah. So let's ask Charlie some questions here. Coach mentioned you played the outside, right? So what is it when you're playing in that position that you're looking to do for those of us that aren't, volleyball experts or aficionados?
Well, when we do have good sets, it's majority going to go to middle, and you got to make sure that you're squeezing, which means just like coming up, hugging on the middle to make sure that you get any balls that go past them. When the balls do come, like Sierra said, they're not so great passes, but you just work with it. Our setters do their best, and really the outside is just there to cover. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, and then same question for Clara. Clara, being in the middle, I'm assuming you're up here at the net with Addie, looking for blocks, looking to spike the ball down on somebody's head, right? Is that fair enough to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that fits your personality, right? Because you're super aggressive, and we can't keep you held back, and you're always champing at the bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what happens, right, Addie? Can you help her out? Okay, girls. So tell me about just the culture on the team. Do you guys have a lot of fun together? I'm assuming that that's the case. Probably a lot of giggling. Is that fair to say, Coach?
Yes, most of the time. Like we've talked about our suburban rides are kind of out there. I learn a lot in the suburban from these girls. So, but it keeps us on our toes, and they're really fun to be around. So
talk to me about some of these new teams that you faced. We mentioned we moved up to Class 2A, and you didn't see a lot of familiar opponents. What was that experience like, just going to some new gyms and seeing some new faces and playing these maybe a little bit bigger school teams, right?
Well, we didn't get to see a lot of them after not making it past the first round, but that's okay. We did last year see Regina, which we probably would have run into eventually in the coming years, and it's just a different tempo. They have, Eddyville, they've been to state for the past 4 years, so they know the tempo that they have to play. Sigourney's never made it that far, so we just have to kind of find that rhythm that they have and make sure that we're running their tempo and not ours. And yeah, just making sure that we're kind of stepping up and playing their game as well.
Sure. Overall, I think it's just kind of nerve-wracking, like for the girls to think we're going to go play, you know, bigger schools, like 2A teams. So just to, you know, get the confidence, like, yes, we can play with these girls. We played with Eddyville just fine. So, you know, like I said, having the confidence in ourselves to do so.
That's a great point. You know, we always talk about, you know, if you're on the football field, X's and O's, and I don't know what you call it on a volleyball court, if it's X's and O's, but just getting to your spots and knowing what your role is, what your job is. When you guys, when you all coach these girls, how much of it do you put into the mental aspect of the game where you're just preparing these young ladies for not just volleyball, but for life in general? You know, do you guys have those leadership moments where you can coach them up and do those things too mentally?
Yeah, a big part of our huddles is it's not who has the best player sometimes. It's who is going to be mentally tough on the floor and who's going to out-hustle the other team. That was a big thing this year for us is are you out-hustling them? Okay, if you're keeping the ball off the ground, even if it's sloppy and it's going over, they're going to make mistakes on the other side. So that was kind of my push this year. We did a lot of push-ups in practice because any drop balls, that's our focus. So just installing mental toughness is a big part of volleyball.
Along with the mental toughness, I mean, volleyball is just a back and forth sport. I mean, you could be down by 10, but just like Sierra said, having that mental toughness and fighting your way back, doing whatever you can, having the confidence in yourself to find that floor. On the other side, someone stepping up and being a leader and, you know, being like, I can get the next point, give me the ball. And that's what we kind of struggled with this year. I think some of the girls were just kind of intimidated and just didn't want to be, you know, that person to hit it out on the last point or something like that. But overall, I mean, I think we just did really well. I'm just proud of how we played overall. So.
Right. So I'm going to ask the girls this question. I want it from the response from each one of you. And we'll start with Charlie and work our way around. Is there one specific game that comes to mind or one specific point that comes to mind where you thought, aha, you know, that was awesome, or, you know, that's what we needed at that point in time? Or is it just, you know, the season's just kind of a blur?
No, definitely our North Mahaska game and Eddyville game. You could really tell that we were all playing together and we found energy and we all just had confidence in each other. So I'll definitely remember those two games. We struggled with picking each other up this year, but you could tell that it showed and that we were ready to play those games.
Clara, same question. Is there a specific game that comes to mind for you where it was kind of an aha moment?
I think during the Eddyville game, throughout the whole game, we kind of had good energy. I think everyone did pretty good, so that helps. So, yeah.
All right, Addie?
I'm going to say the Eddyville game, too. I just felt like most of the time I had goosebumps just from the game overall, which is always good. And it was just we had good energy and people were doing good things, which is what we always want.
Yeah, talk to me about that energy. You know, a playoff, you know, a contest obviously brings a completely different feel than what just maybe an average, you know, night would bring out. You know, did the crowd show out? How's it been the crowd all year?
I'd say the crowd has been pretty good. You know, we just are thankful for what we have for such a small school, but yeah.
Right. And so as one of the senior leaders on this team, walk me through some of the other girls on the team and what they brought and maybe, you know, what your feelings are towards leaving some of these ladies behind.
Well, it's definitely going to be sad leaving them behind, but I felt like a lot of people stepped up a lot this year. It's hard when, once again, we only have 2 returners, but a lot of people stepped up. We have our libero. She's a sophomore. She stepped up pretty well this year. Pretty proud of her. Bailey Gretter, she's the glue, basically, for our team. Like, she does it all, and we're proud of her. The setters, we have a sophomore setter and a senior setter. They stepped up very well. Like, the setter spot is really hard. All the hitters did their job, did amazing, and that's it.
And so we'll bounce back to Charlie as another senior. Charlie, tell me about maybe some advice that you would give to young girls that are coming up through volleyball and what they need to do to be successful.
Definitely be coachable, be confident. It's not as intimidating as you think, but give your all in practice. The coaches are looking for effort and hustle, and just have fun. It's short. It goes by fast.
Right, yeah. Excellent advice. And Clara, talk to me about moving forward, right? So you've got some good experience under your belt now. You're going to be playing forward, moving forward. What did you take away from this year that's going to make you successful next year?
I mean, I loved playing with all of our seniors. I think they were all great leaders. And so, yeah, next year we'll have 3 seniors, I think. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So now that volleyball season's over, Clara, we'll stay with Clara. We'll keep talking to you. Don't be ditching the mic too soon. But now that volleyball season's behind you, what's the next step for sports or extracurriculars that you're planning on jumping into?
So I'm going to be the basketball manager, and then we'll also have winter volleyball, but that's just like 4 weekend tournament things, and then in the spring I'll do golf. So
All right. I'm going to put you on the spot. With your height, why are we managing and why aren't we playing basketball?
I mean, I played basketball the past 4 years, but none of the years I've really enjoyed it. So I was like, every year I'm like, this is my last year, and then last year actually was. So yeah.
It was. All right. And Charlie, how about you? What's the plan moving forward for the rest of your senior year?
Basketball. We start that second week in November. That's all I do. So just basketball coming up, and we're going to have a lot of new girls on the court, but I think we'll have a fine season.
Excellent. And Addie?
Basketball as well. Yep.
Through and through, right. Yep. We knew that was going to happen from you. And now, we're going to get to this segment where we're going to talk to the coaches about you ladies are going to take some time for yourselves and focus on families and things like that, correct?
This is awful. It still makes me emotional, only not because I'm stepping away, but just because I'm going to miss them every day after practice or after school. Dealing with third graders and then going to practice is kind of my joy of the day. But my husband and I are going to take time. I mean, we're building a house. He's deployed. We got a lot on our plate right now. We're going to take time and we're going to focus on family, same as Sid's. So.
This is terrible. First of all, I practiced this 10 million times in the shower because I knew we'd get asked it, and I was like, I'm not gonna cry. But first of all, just going to practice every day, like, the girls didn't make it a job, even though we were getting paid. Like, it was great to go to practice. We enjoyed practice every day, going to games. The girls, no matter if, they graduated before and, we coached them every year that we have coached, it's been amazing. Even though, Sarah and I have been together, it's super easy for us to just have a conversation and we just kind of think the same things all the time. But, we've had people come up to us and be like, oh, like, I bet, you had so much on your plate, or you guys had, just conflicts with coaching and stuff. And we're like, actually, no. Like, we didn't have any conflict at all with anybody, really. Like, everything was made super easy throughout the, 4 or 5 years that we've been coaching here at Sigourney. So other than that, like, we just want to thank the girls overall. Like, it's been a heck of a ride. So thanks, guys.
Okay. Awkward moment for the host here where we have tears on the show. Let's do this. All right, girls, just put a hand on a coach right now, because if you guys were my wife, I'd be holding you and we'd be okay, but I'm not going to do that because that would be way too creepy.
It's not a sad thing. It's not a sad thing. It's just...
Regardless, happy tears, sad tears,
Yep.
it's all the emotion. I get it. And so I'm going to try and drag some more of those tears out just because we haven't had tears on this program. But I do want to ask coaches, give me one of the highest moments in your all coaching career thus far, because we're just going to put it on pause unless you guys ultimately decide that the pause is, a no more sort of thing.
Yep.
But give me, what was one of the high points in this first tennis coaching career?
I think for me, the first couple years stepping into head coach, it was a big change for me because I had never had that much of a role on my plate before, and I had girls that were willing to trust me and willing to do what I asked and make changes for the team, and that was like just incredible to me to having such coachable girls for, I mean, I think this is my 8th year, I think 4th as the head coach, and a lot of changes were made, and they were good changes, but just having a great team to stand behind you and just do what they're asked and have fun and that sort of thing. So big games, obviously, big moments, but that's what's going to stick with me.
For me, I would say probably, because even before I coached at Sigourney, I coached at Tri-County. So I think just being able to then come over to coach, like, not only with my sister, but like at the school that I graduated from, you know, being able to be back in the same school and having, Sierra said, having this girls that have the same mindset, respect you as soon as, you know, you walk through the door and give you what you want, you know, what you ask of them. And their goal is the same as yours, you know, to have a winning record, you know, to have fun, to play as hard as you can overall. And that's exactly what they did. So.
Gotcha. So we're going to start with the seniors on this, and we'll start with Charlie first. Charlie, what have these two coaches meant to you in your development as a player and as a person?
They are definitely amazing coaches. Without good coaches, it's hard to show up to practice, and they make you want to show up to practice every day. I'm thankful that I've had them throughout my whole high school career, and now that I'm graduating, my volleyball season's over. But they just brought joy to every practice, and you could tell that they believed in all of us, and they cared for all of us. And it's hard for the younger girls that they're going to have changes, but honestly, these coaches just made the game fun, and they made it all worth it.
Clara, same question. What have these coaches meant to you?
I've had them all my career too, and I loved having them the whole time. I mean, yeah, and it's definitely going to be hard next year. Different change, it'll be different, so I'm going to be really sad without them.
Addie?
I think they changed my whole perspective on the sport. Like, coming into my freshman year, obviously, insecure, no confidence, like, worried about my performance, and I think that they brought out, like, the best of me, and I couldn't thank them enough for that, and they care about every single one of us, so that's good to have coaches like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And coaches, I want to say thank you for coaching these young ladies and developing, you know, future leaders that these communities need. And it's small communities like this, and I've talked to Coach Jensen about this, that really provide some hope, I think, for society. And giving that time is huge. And I think that you all taking the time to give it to your kids, to develop your families, develop your lives, is as important as it is, obviously, for these young folks. But those that donate their time and give that is really what makes a difference. So thank you both for doing that. It's fantastic.
There will
and I know
be someone that steps up with the commitment that's ready. So I'm happy to see who steps in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it will definitely happen, but you guys have left your mark on a program, and nobody else is going to leave a mark the way that you did it in your way. So you have to be proud about these three young ladies and all the young ladies that you all have affected during that course. So we're all proud of you. We're all rooting for you. So congratulations on a really great season, ladies, as well, and the awards and accolades. And we'll be watching from the stands in the basketball court, whether or not you're playing or whether or not you should be playing. All right.
One question. I'm going to throw it over to Addie for one more. Now, were you happy to snag the female athlete of the week here? Was it last week you got that? I don't know.
Yeah.
On your senior year, able to get that athlete of the week. What were your thoughts on that?
I mean, it was really nice to get that, like, a big accomplishment. Like, I'm glad that people see, like, how hard I work and decided to vote for me, so I'm thankful for everyone who voted for me.
Yeah, it was good to have you on there. All right, well, ladies, it's been a great segment, and I was going to call you the Davis girls, but the Davis girls, thanks for what you've done for the Sigourney volleyball program. Let's take a break, and we'll have Coach Jensen in from SK Football up next. The mission of Essence of Life Hospice is to provide comprehensive, coordinated care to individuals with life-limiting illnesses and to their families, and to support them in the process of death and bereavement. Our goal is to provide palliative care that addresses the physical, psychological, and spiritual dimensions of service for the terminally ill as an integrated whole. We pride ourselves on providing the highest quality care and are on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For more information, visit essencehospice.com.
Keota Community School District, we are proud to lead with innovation, excellence, and the heart. With our student-teacher ratio low, our classrooms are built for connection, giving every student the attention they deserve. We continue with our 4-day school week for the 25-26 school year, creating more time for personalized learning, enrichment, and sport. And the results speak for themselves. In the 2024 ISAF scores, our students ranked number 1 in math and number 2 in English in our conference. That's academic achievement. That's community pride. That's Keota Schools.
Complete Care of Iowa is a medical clinic located in Sigourney, Iowa that provides care to patients of all ages. Located at 113 East Marion Street in Sigourney. Call 641-541-4040. Complete Care of Iowa is open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Tuesday and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday by appointment only. They're currently accepting new patients. Find more information at CompleteCareOfIowa.com. Complete Care of Iowa. Healthcare for where you are.
Stam Garden Center. Transform your indoor and outdoor space with our stunning selection. Visit us today, open 9 to 6, Monday through Saturday, located at 2421 Highway 92, Oskaloosa.
Early fall days can be pretty warm, and a well-chilled white fruity wine might be very welcome, especially if you're sitting outside. Tassel Ridge, Iowa Edelweiss is an award-winning popular wine that can be sipped or paired with spicy foods. Candle Glow White is a drier alternative that will pair with grilled fish or chicken. And if you're looking for a fizzy wine to celebrate a win by your favorite football team, try our Oski Fazzotti Pink, a fizzy sweet pink wine. Tassel Ridge wines are available at more than 300 retail outlets, and all are available at Tassel Ridge Winery in Leiden.
Keokuk County Medical Clinic is your one-stop shop for healthcare. Our behavioral health providers offer a wide range of services to help you reach your goals. We have a variety of family practice providers who see patients of all ages for acute and chronic care. Jack's Corner Drug is located just down the hall for your convenience. Call 641-622-1170 to reach the clinic or 641-622-3184 to reach Jack's Corner Drug.
Hey, we are back here for the sports section of Barn Wired in downtown Sigourney. Get in here on a Saturday morning for some coffee and breakfast. Let's take a look at some scores from last night from our area high school football results brought to us by AE Realty at 321 East Main Street in Montezuma. As you saw here on Steve Shetler Media, it was Pekin getting the big win over Earlham, 42-7. As we'll be talking about next, Sigourney Keota blanks Interstate 35, 45-0. It was Montezuma getting a big win over East Union, 46-28. Clear Creek Amana blanks Oskaloosa, 43-0. Iowa City took it to Ottumwa last night, 60-14. And then Grundy Center ends EBF's season 57-0 was the final score there. All right, it is time for our final segment of the show. Let's take it to host Andy McGuire and Coach Jensen from the Sigourney Keota Cobras.
Coach, first playoff win last night against I-35, the Roadrunners from Truro, which I don't think a lot of us are familiar with that school. South of Indianola, north of Osceola, right on I-35 as their name states there. But last night was everything was clicking, and I'm going to call this all three phases. All three phases were working for you last night. What was it through the week of prep that got you guys ready to have success on all three of those phases?
Well, I think this week was a really good week of practice. Guys were locked in. We talked a lot. It's win or go home. You got to go 1-0, and that's the only way about it once you reach the playoffs. So the guys were locked in. I felt that at the school last night as they're getting prepared in the gym, getting ready to go out. There wasn't a whole lot of talk. It was all business, and I think it goes to show, okay, when you know stuff's on the line, you are locking in, and you're willing to do anything possible to make us be successful. And we talked before we got on air. A lot of players that I feel like this season maybe were holding back a little bit at times, maybe not making the play, but kind of was there. The guys just played with reckless abandon last night, and we had so many players step up and make huge plays at the right time, and just super proud of the efforts. Practice is paramount, details are paramount. You got to be locked into all those every day, every rep, and I think last week we were.
Yeah, there's so many things to talk about in this game, and you might not think that there would be with a 45-0 score. I mean, it's just kind of up and down the field. But we'll start with defense, right? Because SK kicked to I-35 to start the game and really shut it down. Out the gate, shut it absolutely down. And I don't know if it was the first series where Jacob Leib came off with a shoulder, but it didn't look good for Jacob. He had the pads off. We had him strapped up with ice, and he was off. But there were some young guys that stepped in. I think Avon Chitwood came in to fill that role for a bit, and that's a theme of the night, I think, are some young guys that stepped in when they had to step in and really produced. So talk to me about that defense and what it was that they were able to do to shut down I-35.
Well, just assignment driven. You've got to understand your job. I mean, essentially that offense was us, just a wing tee rather than the single wing, and we understand the details. Lining up correctly. Not giving them a larger gap than they need to run through, and just playing assignment football. I think we've done a pretty good job of that on defense this year. You know your role, do your job, and we've had some issues, with quarterbacks getting outside of us on boots and stuff. But I feel like in the run game, that's kind of been our stronghold all year long with those guys, between the guys up front, our inside backers, Jacob and Chase Clarahan. Really just running those creases. Our D-line, we want them to make plays, but ultimately we want them to keep the linemen off our backers and allow our backers to scrape, fairly free and go make plays. And I feel like they did a really good job of that last night, and, walked our strong safety up, so we had kind of two outside backer look there, just looking for anything, condensing down their off-tackle power, containing that sweep. And then I thought our DBs came up and did a fairly good job when need be, coming and making a stop. I know, John Berg stepped up. They were running the opposite side of the field, cut it back. Looked like it could have went a long ways, but John stuck his nose in there and got a hand on him and got him down. So, just all three levels understanding. DB's tough. We harp and harp and harp. You gotta play pass first. But they realize when it's run, man. As soon as I see it's not pass, man, I gotta go be the one that goes make the play. But just played well together on defense. It seemed like we didn't have that many solo tackles. We had multiple bodies to the ball the majority of the night.
Right. And then we get going, and I-35 gets good field position on a kick. And I think we had a face mask called that moved them down the field. So they're really set up to do some damage, get to about the 10, 15-yard line, and go to try and make that pass play. And like a young guy we've been talking about, Landon Fish, absolutely stepped up. I think play of the game, where he stepped up, intercepted that ball, and brought it out. Unfortunately, it marched it back. Maybe not so unfortunately, because you guys take over at the 10-yard line and really put together a grinder of a drive, 90 yards for what? I think I looked at the clock at like 10:15 when we took the ball, and it was less than 4, right at 4 minutes when that drive was over. So, that's classic SK football.
Yes, it is. Landon stepped up right there. The kick return, our coverage, they got outside, and I don't know, they got probably to about the 45, their 45, and we had the face mask penalty to add on to it at the end of the play. So I think they took the ball about the 40 going in. And, So, okay, hey, defense, you got to step up. And, they did a good job of kind of marching it slowly but surely down, got to about the 10. I think that was a third down play. Play action boot, Landon read it, sat on it. The size of that guy, Landon was behind him. And honestly, I don't know as if the quarterback really saw him, because on film Landon was almost in line right behind him. Ball got thrown, and he just stepped right in front, picked that thing off about the 4-yard line, and just a huge play. And again, we've seen what he can do. We talked about it last week. A little bit unsure at the beginning of the season due to his injury in the spring. Gained nothing but confidence dominating those JV games. And he stepped in and helped us out a few games earlier playing corner. And really did a fantastic job. And, he was kind of going to be a cycle-in guy for us. And then Ike goes down, and, here's your shot, man. And he's done nothing but just ran with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really happy for Landon Fish to see that for multiple reasons. One, it got them, or kept them from getting into the end zone, and then secondly, a young guy like that to build confidence when you did not have Ike last night was huge. I thought really kind of a turning point in that game from a confidence standpoint. And then, at some point, Jacob Leib comes back in, suits back up, and just senior leadership that, I might not be 100%, but I'm going to be on this field and take over.
Yeah, and I think it was their first play of the game when he got that shoulder dinged, came off, and, I kept checking back, looking at him and the trainer. They're still working. And I'm just like, okay, man, so now we got to figure out something on offense. To replace our blocking back, which Wells did a fantastic job doing that. But, then we're already short. We've got two linebackers, like two guys that have experience at our inside back are chasing Jacob. And, Aiden Greiner hurt his ankle that couple JV games ago. Or, no, the last JV game, I think. Or, no, the Pella game. But he wasn't back, and he was kind of that third wheel amongst those two positions, for us most of the season, and he was down, So yeah, freshman Avon Chitwood, we had a couple other backers that got some reps, Hayden Bensmiller and a few other guys this week, but Avon's just done JV wise. He's still learning what's going on defensively, but he also plays with reckless abandon. And at the time, it's like, all right, hey, we got to go with him. Went in, did a pretty good job. We ended up moving Carson O'Rourke into inside backer, putting Luke Flynn, another freshman, on the outside, playing Sam backer for us, who had another tremendous JV season playing defense. And, so it's just next man up. We've prepared those guys. They went through the JV season. They haven't done much with the varsity. When we split in practice, we split those guys down with the JV working. And but the JV staff has done a great job getting those guys prepared and teaching them what they need to know. And, now they got their opportunity. They got their shot, stepped in, filled in admirably. But, Jacob was going to come. I just had a feeling if he can go, he's going to go, however much time he needs, take it. But, I saw they Chase took his shoulder brace off, gave it to Jacob, and I saw him strap that on, and then they were still kind of walking up and down the sideline with the trainer, and next thing you know, he's right next to me with his pads on, and I said, I'm just going to stick on defense, and yeah, absolutely, let's get in there and go. So, props to him, playing linebacker and having a shoulder injury and still wanting to go back and play says a lot about that kid.
Yeah. I'm gonna give this wrestler mentality. That's a Spencer Lee type. I don't need knees to win a championship. I don't need a shoulder to play. But tough kid. Got to give him props. Other tough kids. We'll switch over to the offense now. Ike Molnex isn't ready to go. Can't go last night. But you do have Landon Conrad, and you do have Blake Baker, and I was kind of using the analogy, this kind of a thunder and lightning sort of thing there. Yep. But Landon Conrad, that first series was just hard-nosed, run right, run left, and we're going to assert our will on you. Was that kind of the game plan going into that drive?
Yeah, and I told those guys as we were running Team O in pregame, I just went over to both of them. I said, guys, we need 3.5 every play. Whatever you got to do to get that 3.5, you got to go get that 3.5. After that, I don't care what you go get, but every single time you touch that rock, I don't care whether there is a hole and you can go get the 3.5 easier. If you got to go run through somebody, and you saw that early. Obviously, Blake's a little speedier than Landon, but Landon's got pretty good vision and some good cuts, and he might not be that breakaway guy, but he was able to go get that 3.5 all night long, and did a really good job, throwing his body into contact, I think having those two, I knew we couldn't. I didn't want to, not that we couldn't. I didn't want to have one of those have to shoulder the load by themselves. Both of them are playing on defense as well. They have like Ike's Ike. I mean, he can pretty much play the entire game and not really fall off. Not a lot of kids can do that. And this wasn't the game to test it on anybody else. So, the game plan going in was running back by committee, and I think, it shows 2 wing backs rotating in, 2 tailbacks rotating in. Every time we touched the ball, it was kind of a fresh body, and I think that did a really a good number for us on offense, just trying to replace what Ike brought to the table. But talking about Galindo and Carson, man, we don't run counter a whole lot, but when we do, we expect it to go, get some big yards. And I thought those guys ran the ball really hard and found some creases, even when stuff wasn't there. Found a way just to slide through and go get what you can. And all 4 backs I felt like had a tremendous night there, and that's 4 backs. And then you add our spin back into the mix, so you got five bodies carrying the ball throughout a game. Everybody is comparatively fresh, I would say, rather than getting 25 or 30 carries for one guy.
Yeah, we talked about those 4 backs, but I do want to talk about the spin back just for a second. Braden Wood, I thought, had a phenomenal game last night. Didn't show up on the stat sheet necessarily, but that stuff with the tailbacks running to the outside, but then you'd mix in that spin up the middle, and maybe he's the lead blocker for Landon Conrad specifically. There were a number of times where I looked down and I saw that number 16, and he was under somebody's pads and he was driving, and that was making those yards after contact possible. I thought Braden played a phenomenal game last night in probably the least visual way that you can have it.
Yeah, I mean he nothing Braden does is flashy, but you just know he understands the intricacies of what's going on. He's gonna know what his job is, and yeah, when we go direct snap to the tailback, the spin back's just another blocker for us, and getting through the hole, finding a guy, picking a guy off. Maybe he's not the most physical drive blocker like the lineman pulling through there, but getting a body on a body, just allowing that back to have not have a guy directly in front of him, but have the ability to kind of sway and move in either direction to find a crease is a pretty big deal. I thought he ran the ball hard again. Didn't break anything off, but whether it was a 3rd and short, he was getting it. Broke off a couple 10 to 15 yard runs there for us, but just consistency there. Adding that in the mix with the other backs was I think the downfall of I-35 being able to stop us.
Yeah, I think that those blocks, opening up those creases, you mentioned Landon's vision, and he does. He has great vision. And then secondly, I think Landon doesn't get enough credit for being as agile as he is. A couple of spin moves here or just a shift there. Like you said, he maybe doesn't have that breakaway 40 speed, but he's shifty when he needs to be shifty. And talking about shifty, Blake Baker is absolutely shifty. And that dude has a little bit of a move that I don't know what it is, but he gets a defense flowing, and he is really good about cutting that back across the grain and putting his foot in the turf and just making that quick snap. It's not dancy, but it's quick. It's effective, Coach. Mm-hmm. And he had a whale of a night last night. Not only I think he had 117 yards rushing. He had an interception. He had an absolute folded sack. He folded that quarterback like a deck of cards. Yep. Just really impressive. Talk about his night just for a few seconds.
Huge night. I mean, that was his aha moment, his breakout moment. Yeah. Defensively, he's already played 3 positions this year, so he's a smart kid. He's very athletic and just in tune with what's going on. Started out the year at Sam linebacker. We were having some issues at corner. Popped him out at corner. Thought he did a great job there. schematically, I don't even remember what Duran. I think we decided we needed to maybe make a move again here. Moving him over, started working him at some strong safety. Him and Ike were kind of sharing that spot, but they were also both playing corner. So it was something that you wouldn't typically do that with a sophomore, but his game intelligence is far beyond his sophomore year. So we felt comfortable with him picking up and knowing what he's doing at each of those positions, and he was willing to just bounce around. And ideally, no, you don't want to have to do that, but we were in some situations where we had to find a person that we feel in this scheme that can get that job done, and but. A pick, a big time pick. I mean, that set us up there, extended the lead out. His ability to run the ball. I going back to the cuts. He gets going so fast that it does look like he's trending outside, but he's always kind of got that lean with him. And he just knows if he starts seeing that flow, he's already got that lean where he can dip inside real quick, and then he can plant his foot and get back outside. So, his vision is there as well. Just getting more carries is, I don't know how many carries he's had on the season, not very many, but so we see the ability that we have back there with him, and just a fantastic night overall. Big sack, big interception, huge kick return. I think a 41-yarder, maybe a 19 or 20-yard punt return. So just he was that guy that got those hidden yards or those big plays, the majority of the night. And before Landon Fish's pick, when they were down on the 10-yard line, they were running buck sweep to his side, and he found his way through two of those pulling linemen and stuck those guys for a 4-yard loss there too. So he had a big freaking night. I mean, that was his coming out party. And he's already done big things this year. That's the thing, But last night it was just offense, defense, special teams. He was all three levels of those or all three phases of the game there. He was playing. We know up to his potential.
Well, and that's the thing that you want to see when a guy like Ike is not available for that contest. You can look around and you go, okay, who's going to step this up? Ike's not a vocal leader, I don't think. He's more of a lead by example. I'm tough, and everybody knows it. And who's going to be that person to step that up and do it? And I'm not saying that Blake was necessarily that guy, but he was one of the guys that showed out, that needed to show out. And you're right. I think that Blake's had a heck of a year, but last night was just the next level. And I thought you got that from a lot of young guys. This season has been tough. We talked about it. We had tears earlier from the two Davis coaches. We'll call them Davis, though they're not Davis officially. But, early in the season with those first three coaches, I thought maybe we were going to get a tear out of you on some of that because I could see it was eating at you.
Yeah.
But here we are at the first playoff game. You've got young folks stepping up. You can see guys coming into their own, taking that next step. And then you start thinking about, well, if it isn't this year, if it might not be this year, there's a damn good chance that it's going to be coming at some point in time with what the talent is that's coming. I don't want to get ahead of that too much, but really, really impressive win last night. Before we move on from that game, though, I do want to ask you about the procedure penalties that I-35 was stacking up in that first half. Was there something different that we were doing that was causing them some grief?
Well, on film, you could tell they were a little bit undisciplined up front, and not even necessarily undisciplined. Well, you can't say it's not, I guess, but those guys fire off the ball on the D-line, and we saw that. I mean, they got their nose in their 3-tech. I mean, they want to put them right around the center and just absolutely go shoot gaps and blow stuff up. So we knew, all right, teams that want to do that, you can catch them off guard. So the boys did a really good job this week working the snap count, going on down, going on 1, going on 2, going on 3, just mixing it up. And we'd struggled with if we mix the snap count up earlier in the season, and that's slowly and surely gotten better for us. And that's how you have to. If you go on the same snap count every time against our offense, you're just giving the defensive an advantage. And we took, just because most defenses want to play fast and physical against us because they know that's what's coming at them. But they were a little bit overzealous about every snap count. They obviously weren't watching the ball. They were listening to the quarterback, and we tell our guys, quarterbacks are cheaters. You don't ever listen to anything they say. Keep your eyes on that ball if you're on that D-line. So, just did a really good job of holding our water, working the snap count, keeping them guessing, and, that was huge. I mean, there was probably 4 procedure penalties in the first 2 drives, or maybe even 5. I think there was 3 on the first drive.
Yeah.
And going back to even that stuff, offensively, that you talked about earlier, that second drive, we started on the 10, worked about 6-7 minutes off. First drive, man, we worked probably 8 minutes off the clock, so we had the ball for probably 15 of the 24 minutes of the first half. So and a lot of that goes back to, I feel like our line had the best game they've played all year long. I mean, they knew what was at stake. And not to blame anybody, that was what was lacking early in the season. They've continued to just piece it together, put it together, understand what they're doing. We've seen every front you can see at this point, and so now they do know, all right, depending on alignment, this is what we're doing. And we were for sure the most physical football team on the field last night, and that's what we always tell them. It doesn't matter who's behind you. Okay, if you guys do your job up front, we're going to have guys that are going to run that ball and get through the hole. And they did a tremendous job last night. I'll give them. If there was a game ball to give out, it'd probably be to the offensive line, and that's saying a lot because we had some dudes step up and make some big time plays. But offense, I'm just proud of those guys. I mean, I know that Mid-Prairie game, I absolutely just hammered them at halftime. And I think, that second half, I felt we did a lot, or they did a lot better. And I think that was kind of the tipping point where, okay, every week from then on, it was just a big step forward. And, that was the SK offense that everybody is used to. And we weren't that, through the first half of the season. But, man, the second half of the season, I feel like we've put it together.
I think there's just some differences going on now. It feels like this crew is really owning their spots, owning who they are. And it isn't just, on offensive line where it's showing up. It's on the special teams. We've talked about Graham Moore, but I thought Graham Moore last night on special teams was absolutely flying. And not that he wasn't at the beginning of the year, but there's just a little bit of a different swagger about it, playing with a hair on fire. And, you saw that not just out of Graham, but other dudes out there that, okay, this is mine, and I'm going to go get it now. And that's just a bit of a flip from, I think, what we've seen earlier in the year. So it's really exciting to see those guys flip this switch and keep it moving.
Absolutely.
Coach, putting this one behind us, 45-0. I could talk about the wing tee. I could talk about how do you prep for that, and I'd love to, but we're running long here anyhow. Looking at the next opponent, I think there's some options or some possibilities, and it's going to be coming out here pretty quick. Speculation-wise, who do you think you might have coming your way?
Obviously a 1 seed, but I don't necessarily know how the state's going to look at it, how they're going to view us. Are we one of the top 2 seeds, and I don't know how much they put into, okay, hey, they're kind of already seeding this stuff out, trying to place, the better ones against the lower 2s, and then maybe the better 2s against the lower 1s. So I don't really know. Geographically, we got West Marshall, there's Hudson, there's Regina, there's Beckman. I'm not sure really how far we are from South Hardin. Well, South Hardin was a 2 seed, so we wouldn't necessarily see them. But so I would venture to guess one of those 4 teams is who we have to have, because we're probably not traveling to northwest or southwest Iowa to go play a game.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I had in my head, was kind of the West Marshall, Regina, Beckman group. And then you start diving into, well, will they do a district matchup, the Regina thing? Or do you just start looking at, can you knock that aside and go, okay, it's Beckman or it's West Marshall? And then you're going, well, if it's West Marshall, you start looking at common opponents. You start looking at that I-35 matchup, and you're going, hey, we might, if we get that one, that would be a nice little path for us. Do you play those scenarios out in your head, or is it just let me see what happens and then we'll worry about it?
I haven't really. I mean, we've obviously thought about it, but you don't put too much stake in anything. I mean, I got that's the last thing I have time for is speculation and thinking about that stuff. But we're excited, and I think Coach Piccoli said it best last night in the team huddle. Guys, it doesn't matter who we get. We're going to be the underdog, but we're going to show up and we're going to go play. That's all we ever do. JV guys, that's all you do. Going against all these bigger schools, taking on any games that come your way. The varsity, that's what we do. You go play the best, and we talked about that last night too. That essentially that was the 6th playoff game we've played this year. That level and that caliber of team, that's the 6th playoff type game that we've played this year. I-35 hasn't been in a whole lot, and I think that was probably a pretty big difference between the two. We knew the physicality you had to play with in big games. The attention to detail in big games, because we've been in 5 of those big games already this season.
Absolutely. No, I think that you're seeing this tough non-district slate paying off when you want it to pay off, and you see this team coming together, and you see the youth on this team, and you're starting to reap what you sowed earlier in the year. So I couldn't be happier for you. Coach, winning looks really good on you. That first half,
yes, it does.
That didn't look quite as good on you. So I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of what these boys are doing. So, Steve, what do you have for Coach
I'm
Jensen?
just going to ask. Of course, we do Pekin football live here on Steve Shetler Media, and you and Clint Weber, Coach Weber, are friends. What are your thoughts on our friends to the south at Pekin, and any words of encouragement for Coach Weber? How about that?
We text back and forth. We just the good lucks and things like that. I'm just proud of what he's doing down there. He took over a program that was down in the dumps, and just a lack of accountability and coaching down there, football wise, that, they just kind of went through a few coaches here and there. And I was sad to see him leave, but, just happy for the opportunity he has to go down there and be successful and build it the way he wants to build it. I mean, he was a huge part of what we built. I mean, it wasn't me, it was all our coaches, but Clint was that really assistant head coach. I mean, he took on a lot of responsibility, did a fantastic job for us. And, it's 9-0 season. You don't always have that. And, just proud of him and what he's been able to accomplish down there. And, who knows who they'll get next week, but I know he'll have those guys ready to go. And, I'm hoping in the future, now that they're kind of getting back to some success, that they're willing to put us down in the non-district on the non-district list in the future. But just proud of him and what they've been able to accomplish, and best of luck next week.
Awesome. Well, of course, we do our best to cover both the teams, SK, and of course with Clint Dye taking pictures and quick little videos and doing the live video of the Pekin games here on Steve Shetler Media. Well, Coach, we wish you best of luck next week, and we'll see you again here on the show next week.
All right, thank you. Go Cobras.
Thanks for coming in. And Andy, instead of taking a commercial break, we got all our commercials out of the way. Coach, you can head out. We will take a look at our athletes and team of the week right now. Keokuk County Hospital and Clinic's male athlete of the week, for this week is Troy Klett from Sigourney Cross Country. Very deserving. That guy is a heck of an athlete, heck of a runner, and he's been doing it for the last few years, getting recognized this week as our Keokuk County Hospital and Clinic's male athlete of the week. And we're going to stay here in Sigourney for our female athlete of the week. Kelly Stiles, State Farm Insurance, our sponsor of that. Bryn Clarahan. Yeah, everybody knows her for her basketball accolades already, but she's also a heck of a runner. And Sigourney Cross Country's Bryn Clarahan voted our female athlete of the week. And as we mentioned earlier, Pekin football for the 3rd time this school year already, our Emma Ratliff American Family Insurance team of the week. So congratulations to them. Andy, we've got Hawkeye football coming up today, Iowa, Minnesota, 2:30 kickoff. All right, first of all, what are your thoughts on 2:30 kickoffs? Josh Clubb and I are not a fan. We're growing spoiled with these 6 o'clock kickoffs, which I think, from a TV viewing standpoint at home, is the perfect time for a football game.
Really? You guys like the 6 p.m. kicks?
I like the 6 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah. Why is that? Just because it's in prime time and you have the whole day and you can do whatever you want?
You got the whole day
to
do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of your normal TV viewing time.
Yeah.
You don't have to like rearrange your day on a Saturday to watch the game.
Yeah.
You can get all your normal stuff done and then watch
that.
the game.
I get that. Yeah, no, I understand what you guys are saying, but at the same time, I'm a bit more of a football purist. You know, I'm a college football 11:30 a.m. on a Saturday guy.
Well, yeah.
You know, that's kind of my MO. 2:30 is fine for me. Actually, I personally kind of prefer the 2:30 to the 6.
Okay.
And that's just because I like to have a Saturday evening if I want to.
You like to go out and party?
If I want to, well, no. If I want to take my beautiful bride out to a nice dinner, wine and dine, Aaron, that's what I'm gonna do. You know, I'm solid that way. I riz her up, and you know, that's what happens. You know, but otherwise, you know, I do like the 11:30. But the thing I find also about the 6 o'clock kick is, I end up watching football all day long then. And then I watched the Hawkeyes play, and I've done nothing all day other than watch football, which is okay by me, but I also feel guilty about that because I feel like I should have gotten something done on a day off, you know, if you will. But I would say this, though. If it's on Saturday, I'm cool with it. It's where we start dumping the Friday night games in that drives me nuts.
That's
you know?
horrible.
And those other guys in Ames tend to do that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, do they ever play on Saturday? I have 2 questions about these staters. 1, why don't you guys play on Saturday? And 2, do you not like your own school colors?
No.
I don't want to start up a hornet's nest here, but they're always in black, you know?
No, I don't get it.
Maybe they like that back in black thing that goes on in Iowa City.
So what are your
digging
thoughts?
A little bit.
Iowa, Minnesota, what do you think? What's your prediction?
Hawks by 1 million. Start
Hawks
with that.
by 1 million.
The Floyd of Rosedale is going to stay in Iowa City.
Okay.
As it should. I think that this team, I said it last week about gelling with Penn State. That was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. But I think this one's going to be Iowa pretty handily. I don't think Minnesota's going to be able to stick with it. I think they had a nice win last Friday night, right, against Nebraska. Got the win at home. And I think that's going to be a bit of a hangover. I think they come in here a little bit too confident in themselves, especially knowing who their coach is. I think the coach is going to build them up.
Yep.
And that doesn't bode well. PJ. And I think there's also some bad juju on that Cooper DeJean fair catch.
Yes, I was going to say.
Fiasco.
No fair catches today.
There's no fair catch. That's such.
Yes.
Fooey.
We won that game, and we know it.
Absolutely. So, yeah, anyway, Hawks are going to win this thing handily, and PJ Fleck's going to go back and sell used cars. Shots fired on 2 fronts. I'm feeling feisty today, Steve.
Really?
I am.
Iowa State, I don't know if you care. Obviously, you don't care. Iowa State plays BYU. Think Iowa State can get her done?
I do, actually. I do. I think that Coach Campbell's hit the end of his rope on some of this laziness, if you will, or just lack of detail. I think he's going to right that ship, and I think we're going to have upset against BYU. I think they're going to be ready to rock and roll. Homecoming in Ames, so I know that my oldest is up there rocking and rolling and having some fun, so maybe Aiden can actually will them to a victory.
There you go. Well, Andy, I think once again we have set a record for the longest show in the sports section history, 1 hour and 28 minutes.
I know. Yeah, you're going to think twice about having me host this thing, especially when we start talking to Coach Weber and Coach Jensen about X's and O's, because I could sit here for another hour and a half or more and talk about it, but yeah, I do want to say congratulations to Coach Hansen and Coach Van Otteham about their run as Sigourney's volleyball coaches. They've done a wonderful job, and that's really an admirable thing to do, coach young folks.
Yep. And when you get emotions running, you know that they, it just shows that they care and they're passionate about what they do and they're passionate about their emotions for the kids. So good stuff. Best of luck to them and what they got going on. All right, let's get out of here. We'll call it a sports section. We thank Barnwired for being our host venue. We'll do it again next Saturday.